So today we have a brand new plugin from Waves, and it's kind of a game changer, especially for people who are newer to mixing. So if you want to know what this plugin is, how it works, hear it in action, stick around after this introduction.
Legend softly.
Welcome, everybody, to the Audio Sorcerer YouTube channel. My name is Dan Spencer, and this is the place where we talk about music production, audio mixing, mastering, and even a little bit about music business. So, if those topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell, and then you'll never miss a new video when it comes out. So, in today's video, we are talking about the Waves Curve AQ, not EQ, AQ plugin, which is also not really an EQ plugin, but it kind of is. So we'll get more into that in the video. It is the second plugin in the Curve series, followed by the Equator. So in this video here, we are going to go over the parameters of the plugin so you know how to use it. And then of course, I'm going to demo it for you. So Waves describes this plugin as the first ever plugin that actually listens to your material and makes content aware decisions, okay? It doesn't try to make your instrument hit a specific spec. It just listens to it and then gives you 5 different options that you can choose from to decide how you want it to sound. So it's pretty cool. So if you do end up liking this plugin, I have a link in the description below. So with that all out of the way, let's get further into today's video and let's look at the user interface of the Waves Curves AQ. All right, so here we are in Pro Tools and I have the Waves Curves AQ plugin open. So I'm briefly going to go over the user interface so you know how to use the plugin properly. So as you can see here, you see acoustic guitar. I've actually already learned in this instrument. And after you learn in an instrument or a mix, you get an option of 5 different EQ profiles right here. Now the first one is suggested, and when you get over to the fourth one here, it says alternative. I find that the first 3 tend to be the best ones to choose from, so just keep that in mind. So after you select your profile, you're going to see what it looks like with the white line here on the EQ spectrum. Now the green here are your cuts, and the red here are your boost. Now beneath that, we have our 4 different bands that this plugin creates. So the first one here is our low band. The second one is our fundamental band, and the fundamental frequency is basically the lowest note of the key of the song that you're in. So it's pretty cool that it finds that for you. Next, we have our high band. And then lastly, we have our air band, okay? And you can modify where these cross over, but I recommend leaving these as is, how the plugin determines they need to be. Beneath that, we have our global adjustment for our cuts right here. So we can boost this up and down, and it's going to affect how much the cuts actually happen. And then the same here for the boost. And then in the middle here, we have an overall adjustment for the processing, okay? Now, next to that, we have dynamic and static EQ options, a fader for that. So we can adjust this fader in between. Do we want it to be more static or more dynamic? So if you're not familiar with the dynamic EQ, it's constantly adjusting and listening based upon what's coming in. And obviously that's going to take a lot more CPU power. So I find in most cases it tends to be better if you leave this in the center or maybe even a little bit more to the static side. Over here on the right side, we have a tilt option and we have more options under that. We have a high tilt, low tilt, and then flat. I typically don't use the tilt options in these plugins, but it's there if you want it. And then lastly, we have our advanced controls down here. We have an attack release. That's going to be obviously how fast the plugin reacts and then how long before it actually lets go of its processing. That's the release. And then precision here. This is going to make the EQ bands, not so much bands, but the actual frequencies that are being cut and boosted, either more smooth or more jagged. So if we increase the precision all the way up here, I guess you won't see this until I actually play it, but these become a lot more narrow, which is not really what you want because that's going to introduce a lot more artifacts into the sound. So 30% seems to be pretty good here, and that leaves it more smooth and it sounds more natural. Over on the right side of advanced controls, we have auto makeup gain and we have a limiter. And lastly, we have the mix knob so we can use this as a parallel effect. All right, so that is pretty much everything you need to know about the Waves Curves AQ plugin. So let's now demo this thing and hear what it sounds like. All right, so I fully reset the plugin here. So this is what it looks like when you first open it up. Now, we're going to be using this on an acoustic guitar track, and you could use adaptive here. So adaptive listens to the instrument that you're playing in, and then it tries to figure out what it is. And it's pretty good at it. But honestly, I feel like it's just better to select the instrument that you are working with. So we're going to go down to the drop down here. We're going to select guitars, and then we're going to select acoustic guitar. So now we're good to go. All we have to do is hit the learn button right here and then play in our instrument, and it's going to give us our 5 profiles. So let's do that now. All right, so I decided on EQ profile number 2 because I felt like it gave a good balance between the low end and then also the air while cutting out some of those harsh upper mids right here. So let's actually do before and after, but I'm also going to apply a little bit of compression in the background so we can hear this as a more finished product. All right, so let's give it a listen. All right, so there you have it, a pretty drastic difference. So the guitar we started with was a little bit boomy, and it is an electric acoustic guitar, so it does have a specific tone to it. So we obviously kind of brightened it up here, made it a little bit more clear. And this is going into a pretty thick 90s style pop rock song. So it's just going to be being used for some extra thickness. So I think that tone will work really good for it. So lastly, I just want to show you how you can utilize side chaining in here to, help maybe clear up your kick and bass. So let's take a look at that. All right, so if you want to have your bass guitar duck a little bit every time the kick hits, all you have to do is first go to your kick track right here, and we're going to add a bus to it. And let me find an open one. So we use bus 21. You're going to set it to pre. You're going to set the fader to unity. And then we're going to go over to the plugin, and we're just going to use the acoustic guitar one, for example, here. We're going to go up to our key input here at the top, and we are going to select bus and then bus 21. And you're going to see this MixSense option is now enabled. And now you have this little knob right here that controls how much the side chain audio is actually influencing the processing. So we can crank it all the way up to 100% if we want, or do anywhere in between. But now this is going to make sure that every time the kick hits, the bass frequencies that are competing with it are going to duck. Okay, so that's all you have to do to utilize this plugin for sidechain processing. All right, so there you have it. That is my review / tutorial on the Waves Curves AQ plugin. So in the comments below, let me know what you think of it. So again, it's not really an EQ plugin. You're not going to go in here, be adding nodes, making adjustments like that. You're going to allow it to listen, do its little AI algorithm, and then you can make further adjustments and fine tune it. Okay, that's basically what this plugin is for. All right. So if you did end up liking it, I do have a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe because I love making this content for you, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video when it comes out. And if you want further content like this, check out my review / tutorial on the Waves Curves Equator plugin. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.